Hello and welcome to another episode of SuperCoach Insider. My name is Chris and I'm here to do my round 8, I think it's into round 9 now, SuperCoach team and go through my changes, how I went this week, how I'm going for next week and what we're all looking at. Before I get started though, introduction to our new sponsors, Manscaped. So thank you very much, Manscaped, for jumping on board and helping us with everything. Support for Supercoach Insider is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Write that down. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who have trusted Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you guys. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code SCInsider100 at manscaped.com. That's SCInsider100. And if my math is correct, just like Ben's yesterday, that's 8 million balls. I love that. That's so good. Their lines are awesome. Now, I did actually go through a little bit of a story yesterday, but I do want to touch on another feature that I actually was using earlier today because it was quite early when I was doing my trimming. Is that the actual shaver has a light on it, which for those who have actually shaved before, it's a godsend. Seriously, like just that little illuminate that little area just makes it that little bit easier to do everything that you never knew you needed until you went, oh my gosh, how was I doing this before without a light? So definitely check it out, guys. Highly recommended. Easily the best equipment I used. The shaver I was using before was the VS Groom Expert, and this is 100 times better. So definitely recommend from a guy that does use these type of products and use them very frequently. Now, getting on to our potty. So I scored 23.65 this week, which is pretty good. I'm pretty confident I scored more than the other guys this week, and it did propel me back into the top 1,000. So now up to rank 788. So up from, I think I was about 1,400 there. And look, probably the biggest reason, I'd like to say that the biggest reason was me trading Hewitt. However, that kind of ended up backfiring. So I ended up trading Hewitt, guys. I was not confident he was going to come back this week. I know that I already held for the 1 week, but I ended up pulling the trigger and trading. So I went on with the Hewitt to Doherty trade, and I also traded in some other rookies. Let me pull up my team and get that up and show you guys what we actually did. But yeah, so the rookies I got in was McComb, obviously. These are actually, let me undo those changes, shall we? These are what I'm looking at for this week. Oh, can't let that go out of the bag. Let's confirm that. All right. So I obviously had, who did I have there? So McComb, obviously, I got in. Doherty is another one that I got in. And Cameron is the other one that I went going in. So I did actually go with Darcy Cameron, guys. So I know a lot of people have been thinking and umming and ahhing. I pulled the trigger. I went on it. Pulled a 108. I thought I think he was sitting on about 93 at the end of the game and scaled like 15 points. I will go through how I think that's going to benefit my team later. But so far, so good. Fingers crossed. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, I did end up going with the Hewitt trade for a couple of reasons. First of all, my initial plan was to trade in Clark and to upgrade elsewhere. However, with Hewitt going down, I also had Witherden that was already out for the week. So that meant I was 2 premiums down defence, and I needed to try and balance the scales because what I didn't want to do was run McCartan and De Koning on field. Now, that was a bit of an idiotic move because, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, De Koning comes out with an 82 and McCartan goes 94. I really didn't need to probably trade Hewitt. Having said that, now I'm pretty happy I did because it doesn't look like Hewitt's going to be back again this week. In which case I would have been stuck with him for another week. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what does happen there. I went, unfortunately, the amount of times I changed my trades throughout the week, I ended up forgetting to take the captaincy off my last week's captain, which was Jack McRae, which ended up actually being one of the best captain choices for the week. So I got very lucky there because it was a straight captain onto Jack McRae without having the vice available. So yeah, luck. That's literally all that was. My initial plan was to VC Dunkley and go into Lockie Neal. So I would have likely taken, obviously, had to have taken the 123, and I gained an extra 21 points. So some would say that's kissed, and you'd be right. So look, good week of Supercoach. Obviously, Witherden coming back this week. Crisp just continues to keep on keeping on, and he keeps pumping out decent scores, and I'm really impressed with him. Doherty pumped out a 115 on debut for me, so that looks good. Short continues to score well. He's having easily his best year of his career. Ryan's the one that is actually killing me. He's basically Whitfield with a better buy. That's how I would describe him. It's the only reason why I'm saving him in the team is Luke Ryan. What he seems to be doing is playing basically almost that Mitch McGovern role at Carlton, where then sometimes kicking to him when they're open, but Fremantle are more often than not moving the ball forward and not switching. They're relying on their contest forward of the ball to bring the ball to ground and get their smalls working because they believe they can win the ball in the contest, and they are, and it's working. And that what's annoying about that is that Ryan's often the guy that's trying to get free for a switch, and they're not passing it to him. He's not racking up the ball like he usually does unless teams kick a lot of behinds. He does still take kickouts, of course. He doesn't have the monopoly on them, but he has majority. He does score then. He does take the occasional contested intercept mark. But the problem is he doesn't play. He plays centrally, not wing behind the ball. So what I mean by that is if it's a throw in the right forward flank or half forward flank, and he's a kick, they're all the defenders are a kick behind the play. He's actually standing in the center square a lot of the time. He's the one central of that. Now, often if it's a dirty ball or a hack kick, that's going down the line to a Chapman who scored really well last week, or to who's there, Hayden Young on the other side. So he's actually not necessarily always the guy that's free and open to take that intercept mark, and that's really frustrating from a user perspective. They actually set up that wall behind in different stages. He seems to be more central from what I've noticed. Really, really frustrating. I want to get rid of him, but can't. My likely scenario right now is I'm going to hold him. He obviously has the round 14 bye. That's the one benefit that we get. So I'm going to hold him up until that bye period, and then I'll trade him probably to Tom Stewart. That's who I'm looking at targeting for my round 14 upgrade, which should be my last upgrades for the team. So I'll probably get Hewitt back before, so we'll be running 6 premiums, but Ryan will obviously be the one that I'll trade out of that premium line heading into that round 14 bye. Obviously the big 6 that I've got, Neal, Steele, McRae, Laird, Miller, Cripps, all performing really well. Laird in particular has gone 116 and 123 in back-to-back thumpings. Absolute thumpings. Better than that, he was sick all week, didn't train, rocks up, and was their best scorer on the day. Rory Laird has been an absolute shining light in my team. Can't speak highly enough of him. And now everyone's now starting to talk about Rory Laird because he's in 1% of teams and he's a super pod. But no one has him because of his price. It seems as long as he continues to pump out these big scores, he's not going to be under 600k. And no one's looking at him mainly because he probably is top 8 to 10 in terms of average. But there's a lot of value at that point right now. So people are looking at Brayshaw or Petraka for that last little mid spot and not a Laird because those guys are 50k cheaper. So I feel like he's probably going to maintain a pod. Also, if people are looking at spending that money, they're maybe looking at someone like a Callum Mills instead, who's probably similar style averaging for the year, same buy. So I think I might actually be lucked out and get Rory Laird all to myself, which would be really, really nice. Raul, I'm probably looking at trading this week. I think it's time, and I'll go through that in a little bit. And then Nick Martin as well. Still continues to go on, still continue to make money. McComm obviously did really well with the 73. Ward is ready to go, but I might keep him for another week. We'll see how we go with that. And then, of course, Hayes and Bruce were fantastic this week. Absolutely brilliant. Can't ask anything more when Hayes outscores Max Gorn by 16 points. Thank you very much. Tip of the cap to you, sir. And then, of course, the forward line. So Dunkley had a bit of a poor one, but still performing well overall. Parker was on 80 at half time and finished on 89. Obviously rolled his ankle, so that's well publicised. But hopefully, fingers crossed, he bounces back. I still think he managed more than Heaney, so whatever. Will Brodie pumping out some decent scores and continues to do so. Cornelio, bit of a role change, so may look at getting rid of him, but probably going to hold him until round 14. I'll go through a little bit of that later. Butters I've committed to hold for now. Again, I think worst case for Butters, and if you listen to the pod last night, you know that I'm looking at either holding him to use in F7, M9, or upgrade him after the buys. And I've got a little bit of an option there. And then Darcy Cameron, absolutely brilliant. I think he'll be brilliant as long as Grundy's out. I think he'll probably average about 100. May not be like, top 6 forwards over the remainder of the year, but at very least he's a round 14 premium, can take you right through the buys, and then I can trade him to a round 13 premium. And just on that, while we're touching on the forward line, and we did touch on the pod last week, it's looking likely that Bont and Bailey Smith will both get forward eligibility, and if they do, they're going to be pretty much must-have premiums. So I'm looking to transfer 2 premiums to those guys before that, and it's looking like Cameron and Cornelio. Could also be Brodie, obviously, with that buy. That really would help depending on how many premiums we have on field. But that is what I'm looking. Now, on to this week. So, had a bit of a think. We went through a big rookie pod yesterday. I'm definitely more of the opinion. I was thinking of triple downgrading, I should say, using a boost. Triple downgrading because I do believe there's some decent rookies with some decent cash to make. However, I've decided to go with a double. I'm going to double down and single up because I think it's time. I think it's time to bring in the Clary. And obviously it's fixture related. Last year I watched in awe as he went 200 against Adelaide. The year before, I think he went 200 against the Gold Coast. Clary might be the biggest downhill skier in the league. And he's just about to face luckless West Coast and North in back-to-back weeks. And in one of them, he's going to go big. And he's already priced at 660k. And I'm hoping to get him in, at the buys. I'm not going to be picking him up cheaper. I think he goes big. I think one of these next 2 weeks, he goes absolutely massive, 160 plus. He's captain option over the next 2 weeks. And that's really going to hurt as a non-owner. So I think it's time to bite the bullet and trade Raul to Clary. And I'll get those 2 downgrades, which will create some cash in bank as well. Of the downgrades, and we'll start doing this process, I revealed on the pod yesterday, I'm more leaning towards Hamilton as my guy. The other one I'm trading out is going to be Roses. So I think that, in terms of cash gen, I think he's pretty much done for now. And I'm also going to be trading out Hugh Dixon. And that way I can get in Shrnadakar. So I can use that. STR, Luke Shrnadakar, yep. So hopefully he obviously gets named, but I do believe he will be. The forward I'm going to bring in is obviously going to be a Hamilton, as mentioned. I like his role better. I think he's got a better job security than Rioli. So I do think that he's one that can actually carry me through the buys, which is important. I'm not looking to play these guys on field. I'm not looking for on-field scoring. I'm looking for guys that are going to be consistent over a period. And I think that Hamilton probably provides that more than Rioli, who could be dropped at any point in time. Now, Rioli would be good for quick cash, but I'm not necessarily sure that he's a long-term keeper option. So bringing in Clary this week obviously gets my midfield to 7. It means I'm still fielding Nick Martin there at M8, which is completely fine. Leaves me with about 80k cash in bank for future upgrades. A couple of things that happen, which is really fantastic. So first and foremost, Tim English is not going to be playing this week. He's got the flu, so they've already announced that he's not playing. That really buys me another week. So I've got the opportunity next week to pick up probably Hewitt, because I don't think he'll play this week. And then I can probably have a look at English that week, especially if he's named with Martin. If he's not, then I might try and double, but I'm not sure I'll have enough cash. And then the following week it'll be, so over the next 2 weeks, it'll be Hewitt and English into my team. What that's going to mean is obviously I'm going to go Dacos up. So that'll be there. I'll keep McCartan and DeConning because of their buy structure. It actually suits the way that my team's structured quite well. They'll be able to cover the first buy, which I'll have 3 on-field guys. So I'll have Hewitt, Doherty, and Short, all with that first buy. These guys will be able to cover that, so I'll have 5 there, and then I'll be able to trade them afterwards. So I'll be able to try and capitalize on that and get them to a premium in their buy. Obviously, Nick Martin is there for 383. I'm potential to trade him the week after, so I'll probably go Dacos traded next week up to Hewitt. Nick Martin the following week will go to probably down to, actually, he might even be traded next week. Oh, no, I'll probably trade Josh Ward next week, sorry. Josh Ward will be traded next week, and I'll get in Clark. And then I'll probably loophole Martin and Clark, see how that goes for a week. And then Martin will be gone the following week to bring in Tim English. So, yeah, because I'm not sure that I'll have enough cash to do both Hewitt and English from Nick Martin and Dacos just with Josh Ward. I don't think that's enough cash. But we'll see how we go. So that's my plan. Now, moving forward, obviously, I still need someone at this M8 position. Because I'm going to bring in English, I'm going to put Butters into that M8 position for now. And then that'll free that up. And then we'll obviously look to get an 8th midfielder over the buys. I'm looking obviously at that first buy as an opportunity. Walsh is obviously springs to mind. Josh Kelly potentially, but who knows? It's Josh Kelly. There's also, who else has that first buy that I was looking at? Plays for Essendon. Zach Merritt. He's an option too that I'm looking at. Potentially Darcy Parish, obviously off that first buy as well. So there is quite a few guys that I'm looking at that M8 position off that first buy that I wouldn't be upset with getting. I feel like I've got the best right now. I've got the best 6. Laird, potentially a very good 7th. The only other one that I'd really like here is Callum Mills, but he doesn't fit my buys because I'd have to wait till round 14 to bring him in. And I'm not necessarily sold on that. I think it might be worth going a bit earlier and getting someone that's actually going to carry me through those last 2 buys. So, yeah, we'll see about that. Obviously, I'll have a full forward line. Actually, I kind of have a full forward line now. But in that last buy, I will look to upgrade. As I said, Luke Ryan is gone. Will Brodie potentially and Canelio. Or Cameron and Canelio. It'll be 2 of those 3 to go to Bontempelli and Smith. So that means my forward line will be Dunkley, Parker, Bont, Smith, English, and the 5th will be one of Brodie, Butters, Canelio, and Cameron. But Cameron probably turns into Gawn after round 14 though. So that'll move in there. Butters moves to the Pine as M7, M8. Canelio and Brodie get traded, or Canelio just gets traded. There's a couple of options there. But that's how I'm looking at finishing my team, guys. So a little bit of forward thinking goes a long way. Clarity important this week. So VCC, pretty confident. I think this is going to be the easiest way. I only have Owens, again, as my loop, and he plays the 3rd game of the week. So I'm going to go a dog. Can't go past McRae, really. And I'm going into Clary. It's going to be huge. It's going to be this week or next week. I'm pretty sold on the fact that Clary just loves a good downhill ski, and I want to have him as captain over the next couple of weeks. So there you have it, guys. Hope you like the team. Hope you like where it's going. Charging on to the top 100 and to overtake Ben. And I look forward to hearing how you guys are all going as well. And I'll catch you in the next pod. Have a good one. Bye-bye.